Hi, Mr. Causey here. In this third video in the string art series, I'm going to use a pentagon as the basis to create a curve stitching pattern, and along the way we'll learn some new construction techniques. So remember the setup: we press key 1 to zoom in to the 100%, and we'll get rid of the page borders if you want. And here's the polygon tool that we're going to use. Make sure that it's set to regular polygon, that we've got corners 5, everything else is 0. And hold the control key down so that we can rotate it, and eventually one of the sides will become horizontal. There's the one. So we'll make it fit the screen nicely. So there's our polygon, or pentagon, and it's an object. So we have to change this to a path, because remember the extension we're going to use, the interpolate extension, only works on paths. So go to the path menu, object to path. So we'll check this using the nodes tool, and there's the path with its 5 nodes. If we press the tab key, this node at the top is being highlighted. That's the first node, second node, third node, fourth node, and fifth node. Now we'll duplicate this, and I want to rotate this pentagonal path, but it's important how we have the settings for the steps that are used. So we go to Preferences, under Behavior and Steps. You see I have this set to snapping every 22.5 degrees. Now if you look at a pentagon, divide a complete turn 360 degrees by 5, you get 72 degrees, half that 36, half that again 18. 18 degrees would be a good setting when we're working to create a pentagonal string art pattern. So we'll set it to 18 degrees, click it again, hold the control key down to get these steps working, and start rotating. And eventually it locks back into the original outline. And if we just check this again with the nodes tool and press tab, this time node 1 has been moved around the path. It's now there. Second node, third node, fourth node, and fifth node. And that's important when we use the extrapolate extension, as we'll see. So I'm now selecting the whole lot. That's both paths selected. I go to Extensions, Generate from Path, Interpolate. And this time let's use 40. And make sure we duplicate the end paths, exponent 0, interpolate method 2, everything else is unchecked. And let's apply that. And there we have that wonderful string art or curve stitching pattern. Now you may well at this point want to alter the thickness of these lines depending on how your diagram looks. So let's go down to the stroke menu here, click it, and go to stroke style. I have the line thickness set at 1 pixel thickness. I think I'm going to change that to 0.5, and that looks slightly better. Now because we ticked the duplicate end paths box in the extension we were using, the interpolation extension, when I grab this pattern and move it, I'm left with the end paths, the original end paths. And I can now use this to create some more string art effects. And that's the next stage in our building of this pattern. So for this next stage, we'll use the Bezier tool and click that. And we should when you hover over one of the vertices of this pentagon, it says handle to cusp node. We click, handle to cusp node again, and we click. And spacebar will finish that line off. Deselect, that's important. Bezier tool again. Handle to cusp node, handle to cusp node, and spacebar. So we now have two separate lines. First node, second node, and then the other line, first node, second node. So select both of them. I'm holding shift down and clicking. That's both of them selected. I'll use the interpolate extension. We'll keep it at 40. We'll apply that. And there we get a string art effect. Now this we can grab and use that, and it should snap onto the original diagram. Now we need another 4 copies of that, and we need them at various angles. So I'm going to select that again and duplicate it, and then based on this one, we'll now select it again to get the rotation handles, hold Control key down, align it. I'm not going to add this piece to the diagram yet. I'll create all 4 pieces and then add them after I've created them. Let's zoom out. So let's do another one. We'll duplicate that, select it, get the rotation handles. That one's going to be aligned like that. Duplicate that. And rotate this one. That's the angle. Duplicate that one. And this is the final one. And we'll rotate it. And that's the angle. So we now need to put these into the diagram. Now you cannot be certain from this zoom distance whether the snaps work. There it is. It's bang on the tip there. So we can work out our way around, put them in roughly, and then zoom in. That one's slightly out. And that's it. Bang on. And this one. Remember, leave it slightly over so that when we zoom in, we can grab it and then move it. That's it. And one last one. This one. It's going to snap to that cusp there. There we go. That's it. Spot on. And there we have a wonderful string art pattern. So let's start using this as a basis for a new, larger pattern. So let's group it, duplicate it, and I'll zoom out a bit, and let's rotate that so that it fits on there. Let's do the same again, duplicate that, and then rotate and snap. Duplicate and snap. Duplicate, and we'll snap that on there again. So one to go, and let's take this one, duplicate it, and let's flip it vertically and slide that up. There we go. A lovely looking pattern. Now there's gaps in here. Let's go back. Back to the technique that we used before. Let's zoom in a bit. And we're going to try and fill this pattern up. So I'm going to use the Bezier tool and make sure you're close enough so that you can see where all the cusps are. So there's one. We'll tap, tap, and then spacebar. Deselect, Bezier tool again. And remember, you either go around clockwise or anti-clockwise so that you have first nodes followed by second nodes in order as you go round. So that's second one. Deselect, choose the Bezier tool again, and the last line, click and click again there, spacebar. So in there we have a triangle. Now we can select it, put a box around it, and move it out. There we go. And it's important you keep it, don't group it, keep it as 3 separate lines. And what I'm going to do is take this line, shift, select that line, and use the interpolate extension. I'll then deselect, take this line. Now that's not selected, that line. I think we maybe have to move that. Yes, there we go. We'll move that out the way. We can join the second bit to the first bit in a minute. So we select this line, shift this line, and apply the interpolation again. And we'll put these two together, carefully snapping it in the correct place. Now that template we can now use. Let's group it and duplicate it, zoom out, and that should fit in perfectly in there. Duplicate again, and this time rotate. Now I forgot to press Control. There we go. And this one should fit nicely in there. We're going to fill this, so let's just keep this one selected and duplicate it and flip horizontally. We can drag that across, fits nicely there. Let's duplicate that one, and this time we'll rotate. One last step, there we go. And that's fitting nicely in there. So we've got the one at the bottom still to do, so let's just use this one and rotate that so that it's pointing in that direction. And there it is. So we can zoom out from that, and there's a lovely completed pattern. We'll clear all the debris round about it and just sit back and admire that. So that's Mr. Corsi signing out, and I hope you enjoyed this video.